Because like my thing with my faith is just to try to be a servant, not just a servant of God, but a servant of all. Because I feel like to serve the Lord also means to serve others and to try to help, you know, to try to help.
On this side, your father is a so-called African American. Your father is so-called African American. Yeah. Right. So your ancestors went into slavery on ships, right? You know about the transatlantic slave trade? How did we get to America?
Well, my understanding about on boat.
On boats, right? Watch this. Would you believe me if I told you that's in the Bible? Would you believe me?
It's in the Bible?
Yeah, let us show you. Watch this. Deuteronomy 28:68.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Right? It said the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Now, what was the Israelites doing in ancient Egypt? Do you know?
No.
All right, we're going to show you. This is the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 11.
Bring it out.
Therefore, the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them and brought them low with laboring and brick and made them slaves. Right? So Pharaoh and the Egyptians made the Israelites slaves in Egypt. That's what the Israelites were doing in Egypt. They was in slavery. Right? So watch this. Start on the top.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Right? So we know that Egypt for the Israelites is what?
Tell it again?
Egypt for the Israelites is what? Slavery. Because when they was in Egypt the first time, they was in slavery.
Yeah.
Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Stop. Egypt meaning what again?
In slavery.
And in slavery again, right?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
On a bus.
With ships.
On a plane.
With ships.
Right? So who went into slavery on ships?
It's in Egypt.
No.
Egypt.
What group of people went into slavery on ships? Wouldn't it be the so-called African Americans?
Yeah.
Hispanics and Native Americans? Right? Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
And it said we want to see our homeland ever again.
Uh-huh.
Because our true homeland is the land of Israel. Right? Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Read that again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Right? So the Lord said we'd be sold to our enemies. Who was we sold to when we got off those ships? Who was we sold
My
to, brother?
understanding was the white people.
Right? The white people. So the Lord called them our what?
He was the
called-
enemy.
Right, our enemy.
Yeah.
Read
Yeah.
on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Mm-hmm.
And no man shall buy you.
And buy in the Hebrew means redeem. So nobody was going to be able to redeem us from this situation. Not Martin Luther King, not Malcolm X, not the black, what do they call it, Black Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So, you know the reason we went into slavery on ships? Go to 15, verse 15. It was a reason. The Lord didn't just send us into slavery on ships for no reason. Why are we going to show you?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
All these what?
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All right, so the Lord said if we didn't listen, that if we didn't obey the commandments, curses was going to come upon us, right? Read verse 16.
Verse
We're going to
16.
show you another curse.
cursed shall thou be in the city.
It said, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city." Now, every major city you go to, who is in the slums, in the ghettos, right? Us,
Down
right?
on drugs, Section 8,
Right.
welfare,
Food stamps,
right?
So let me ask you this. It talks about the black people in slavery, right?
right?
Why the okay? What about the white people? What about them?
What do you
They
mean?
I mean, like we being cursed. Let's just say we being cursed, right?
Oh, what is
Okay,
the Lord
why?
gonna do with
Yeah,
them?
why? It's like they got the upper hand.
Okay, let's show you something. Amos 3:3. They do have a judgment coming to them,
Oh, okay.
but right now we gotta focus on us.
Yeah.
For the Lord to save us, you know, we have to come back to the commandments.
Yeah.
And we're gonna show you the judgment of the white race. Right?
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together?
Start from verse 1.
Verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Who's the children of Israel, brother? You the children of Israel. You are Israelite according to the Bible, right? Read.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known.
Right,
of-
so the Lord only knows the Israelites. He only dealt with the Israelites, contrary to popular belief. Read.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Right, so the Lord said He only knew us, so He's gonna punish us. Right, so that's why you know, we got sent into slavery on ships, because we broke the covenant after getting released from Egypt the first time. Right, but the white people, they do have a judgment coming to them.
Okay.
Right, let's go to Revelation 13:10. Watch this, brother.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity,
Start from verse 9.
verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Right, because we got ears out here. Right, read.
He that leadeth into captivity,
Read it again.
he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right, so this is the Messiah speaking in the last book of the Bible. He's saying, "He that leadeth into captivity, which is slavery, shall go into captivity." Right, read on.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Right, so that's what's going to happen to the other nations when Christ comes back. Right, they're going to go into slavery. Right, Isaiah 14:1. Right, because the Lord is a balanced God. He's not just going to let His chosen people get sent into slavery, and then He's just going to let white people get away free. Right.
This
Watch
is the book
this.
of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob,
Right.
and will yet choose Israel.
Right, so the Lord's going to finally have mercy on us, because we've been in captivity after captivity. Our first captivity was the Egyptian captivity. Then you had the Assyrian captivity. Then the Babylonian, then the Medo-Persian, so on and so forth. Our final captivity is America, which is Babylon the Great, right, according to the Bible. Read.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land.
Right, our own land is the land of Israel, Jerusalem, right? Read.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
It said the strangers. The strangers is the other nations, right? You got 18 nations in the Bible. We make up one of those nations, right? So 17 other nations is going to be joined with us, right? Read.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right, they're going to cleave to us. Read.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
It said we're going to possess the other 17 nations. What does it mean to possess something?
You're a controllable person.
Right, right. Read.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
For what?
For servants and handmaids.
Read on.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Read that again.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
That's in the Bible. It says we're going to take them captives whose captives we were. Right? 'Cause that's fair. You know? We
And-
had that damn being in slavery under the so-called white man for, really thousands of years if you count the Greek and Roman captivity. Right? America for like 400 years just off America. Read.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
All right, read that again.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
All right, so that's the judgment of the so-called white man. When he comes back, right? I mean, when Christ comes back, true name Yahushua, right? He's going to take all the nations, gather them together, and they're going to be in Jerusalem under subjection to the Israelites. But the so-called white race, they have a special judgment. First, let us prove to you that the so-called white race are the Edomites, according to the Bible. Genesis 25 and 25. Because we would be the Israelites, according to the Bible. Right? You had Isaac and Rebekah, right? Isaac had Jacob and Esau, right? They was twins. Esau is the progenitor of the so-called white race. Jacob, which was the chosen vessel of God, he's the progenitor of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Genesis 25 and 25.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25. And the first came out red.
No, start from verse 23, my bad.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Right? The Lord said to Rebekah, read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
So the Lord is telling Rebekah, you got 2 different nations in your stomach, in your belly right now, right? Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger.
Right? So it was initially meant for the so-called white race, the Edomites, to be serving us. But we transgressed the covenant, so now we serving them. Right? Read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right?
And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment.
It said the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Now, who is the red people of the earth?
White people.
Right? They so-called white.
Yeah.
Right? They're not white for real.
Yeah.
White in the Bible represents purity. Right?
Like, for example, look at him and then look at the side.
Right? Yeah, they're not the same color. They call themselves the rednecks.
Yeah.
They was just doing something on Facebook where they were seeing who could last in the sun longer without suntan. They was damn red as this book right here. Right? You know, so read.
And he first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Esau is Edom, right? You see Esau in the Bible is talking about the Edomites, right? But in this context, it's just talking about the man Esau, right? Get that kind of answer.
Verse 27.
One more verse, I got to go.
All right, can we get you one more? Can we get you a commandment after this? All right, one commandment. One commandment, elder. Right? Leviticus 11 and 7. Right?
Done. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 7. And the swan.
And the swan, you know what swan is, right, elder? It's pig, right?
Yeah.
Read.
Though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
Right, because the pig doesn't properly digest their food. Right, they'll eat a dead body. They eat trash, they eat damn feces, right? They eat anything. Right, so there's a reason the Lord's telling us not to eat the pig.
Yeah.
Right, that's why we lead in diabetes, right? And gout. Read.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and of their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
So from this day forward, elder, are you willing to put down a pig, right? The pork for God.
All you pork.
Huh?
All you pork.
All praise to the Most High, right? All right, but it's more than that, though. Read.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, and the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Right, so the Lord said anything that has fins and scales in the waters, we can eat that. Right, but if it doesn't have fins and scales, we can't eat it. Read.
And all that have not fins and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, and of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
Right, so what doesn't have fins and scales in the water?
Scales in the water?
Yeah, what doesn't have fins and scales in the water?
Yeah.
I'll help you out. Shrimp. Shrimp don't have fins and scales. Lobster.
You have to peel them, yeah.
Crab.
Octopus.
Seahorse. Right? So we can't eat anything without fins and scales. Are you willing to do that for the Lord, elder? Right? Because you love God, right?
Yeah.
We St. John 14:15. Right? Because hey, God, He requires action. True name Yahweh, right? That's His true name in the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Right? So We gonna leave you with this, Elder. You got a YouTube? You be on YouTube?
Yeah, I can.
Can we give you our channel so you can learn more, get built up in spirit? Because, hey, Elder, we living in the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if you know that or not. Right? According to biblical prophecy, America is about to be destroyed by nuclear fire. Every time the Lord destroys a great society, a great kingdom, he sends men out here to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel before the destruction comes. Same thing he did with Noah before the flood, right? Read.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 14 and verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments.
Read that again.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
Right, so if we say we love God, we have to keep the commandments, right? So that was just 2 commandments. It sits under 13 commandments. But a lot of them doesn't apply. Some of them apply to women. Some of them applies to a temple, which we don't have a temple no more because it got destroyed in 70 AD by the Romans, right? So it's really not hard to keep the commandments of God, right? So from this day forward, I know you say you don't eat pork, but no more shrimp, crab, and lobster, right? So if we can get you our YouTube, you got your phone on you?
Yeah, I got a phone.
All right, you mind us giving you our YouTube? Give me 2 Timothy 2:15 real quick while you're doing that.
This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh.
Read that again.
Study to show thyself approved unto God.
Right? Study to show thyself approved unto God, because as I said, it's more than just 10 commandments, right? You got to watch videos and so you can learn more commandments.
What did you
Like
do?
you did here.
What did you do?
Angels. Yahweh. Yahweh's wife. You can just put us. Subscribe our videos, learn more.
Okay.
Because Isaiah 33 and 6 says wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our time. Right? What I have you, we got one more commandment for you, Elder. Let's go.
We out here, I got to go, man. I'm on the side.
This is very important, Elder.
Right.
This is the last one.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads,
Right?
neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard.
Right? So that's another commandment. We can't cut our beard. Like, we can't cut it, where it's just nothing there. You can trim it down, but you can't, bald it out. Right? So that's the commandment. Right? So we just leave you with that. You watch videos to learn more. Right? And because it's a lot of commandments to learn.
Okay.
All right, so what's your name, Elder?
Calvin.
Calvin?
Yeah, Calvin.
Calvin.
Yeah, man.
Aliyah.
Okay.
All right,
What's your name?
Aliyah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
That's a Hebrew name.
Okay, okay.
You have a good rest of your night.
That'll be good.
All right.
You be safe, Elder.
All right, so all praises.
All
We
praise.
out here to wake up the lost sheep before death and destruction come. Right? You got World War III on the rise. You got the upwards of the people. You got famines. You got terrorists. All hell's getting ready to break loose. And this is why we come out here is to talk to the humble. Right? All right, it said the moon shall not give her light, meaning the
I like that.
You said what? Like
You preach
what?
that here? Bible.
You got questions?
No, I
What's your
just,
father's nationality? What's
My
your
father?
father's nationality?
white,
Caucasian?
Caucasian, yeah.
What about his father?
Caucasian.
Right, so you will be an Edomite according to the Bible, and the Lord's not dealing with the Edomites, all right?
Yes, sir.
Let's get Hebrews 12 and 16. Let's show you a verse, all right? You descend from a man named Esau in the Bible, right? You ever heard of that?
Yes, sir.
You know, I was gonna say you don't gotta call me sir, but
My
technically
bad.
I will be a sir in the kingdom of heaven.
My bad.
It's gonna be master in that, right? Hebrews
God.
12 and 16.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16.
Bring it out.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
As Esau, you know, Esau is the progenitor of the so-called white race, right? What's your father's nationality?
Korean. Well, half Korean.
What about his father?
He was like definitely mixed with some things because when I did my like DNA test, a bunch of stuff came back that we weren't expecting to find.
All right, well, the Lord's not dealing with DNA tests. You have to search out the father. All right, we're going to finish this verse, and we got a verse for you. Numbers 1:18. All right, read that.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Esau is progenitor of the so-called white race, right?
Who?
But let me say this. You got Israelites that look like the other nations. Right? So you got Israelites that look like they'd be Caucasian, but in all actuality, they Israelites, like Drake's son. Like Logic. You know who Logic is? The rapper?
Yeah.
Right? Like Logic. Logic is an Israelite. Drake's son is an Israelite, but they look white. Right? Read.
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Uh-huh.
For ye know that how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected.
Right? So the Lord rejected Esau and the rest of the Edomites. Right? Read on.
For he found no place of repentance.
Right?
No.
It said Esau found no place of repentance. Because Christianity will tell you anybody can repent. Right? The Bible just said that the Edomites can't repent. Read.
Though he sought it carefully with tears.
Right? So it said Esau was crying to the Lord, and the Lord still didn't give repentance to Esau. Right? So you would be an Edomite according to the Bible. Right? And the Edomites have a severe judgment coming to them. Right? And you, I don't know if you could be an Israelite or not. Right? Numbers 1:18.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
Listen to this.
And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their what?
By the house of their fathers.
Right? So you determine your pedigree, meaning your lineage, by your father. Because your father carries the seed. Right? If I took a apple seed and I took it to Russia, it's going to sprout out an apple tree. If I took the apple seed and took it to China, it's still going to be an apple tree. That's the same thing with your father, right? You know, it's a bug about to get on you. Right? So,
Palmettos.
so you got to see what your grandfather on your father's side nationality is. To be able to, if he's a black, Hispanic, or Native American, you could be an Israelite. But if not, you got judgment coming as well, right? We're not going to say what you are right now because we don't know. But your father is you said a Korean?
Yeah, well, it's like a lot of stuff came up that was like really interesting, and it was like I wasn't expecting. Like one of the things that came up was Aboriginal Australian, and I was like, that was really cool to see. I was like,
Australian?
yeah, like Aboriginal Australian, like Oceanian,
You
but that
don't
was like
want
a
to be
small.
Australian, right?
That was like a small percentage of it, but it was like Oceanian. And hold on, I can bring it up on my genome thing.
No, I was saying like it's Korean more. All right, so hey, you got to get ready for slavery, okay? According to the Bible. One more verse for you. One more verse. Revelation 13:10. All right, so hey, you got to kill yourself.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13 and verse 10.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
This is Christ speaking. Read.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Christ said, you lead somebody into captivity, you got to go into captivity. How you feel about that? This is how we test your spirit to see if you may be an Israelite or not. How do you feel about the atrocities that happen to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Do you feel like people
Honestly,
should pay
it's
for
like
that?
it's like heart wrenching, even just because like, okay, like one of the things like that oh man, the image just of the baby with the alligator, that it kills me. I just had a baby. He's 4 months old. I don't understand how anybody
What's
could want to
his-
harm a
what's his
baby
father's
like that.
nationality?
He's Narragansett, African American, and
What's
white,
Narragansett?
and it's Native American tribe.
Native American. All right, so more than likely, your son is a boy.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
all boys. I have 3 boys.
Your son would be an Israelite, more than likely, either from the tribe of Gad or the tribe of Judah. So when you go home, you got to tell your son that, right? And you got to tell your husband or whatever, right? So
I feel like
they would be God's chosen people, the Native Americans and the African Americans.
it's even, I feel like, hard to watch what they're doing to Palestine right now because, like, I don't understand what they're, you know, a lot of people I feel like turning a blind eye to it just because they say, you know, those countries been at war for like so long now. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like even if we feel like we can't do a lot from here, it's like even if you just like liking the video or commenting or sharing it, if you can try to help by just watching a video for 5 seconds, you know, it's like that's even
you mentioned
something.
Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Palestinians. That's ultimately a judgment from God, right? Give me that.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 1, verse 7. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza.
Read that again.
But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza.
Right? Because the people of Gaza, they're the Israelites' enemies. Go to Psalms 83, right? Those are the enemies of the children of God, right? So ultimately, that's the Lord doing that to the people over there in Gaza, right? They stole that land, right? The word Palestine goes back to the word Philistine. The Philistines are the Africans, right? The ancient Egyptians, the Hamites, right? So they're not even supposed to be in that land, right? Psalms 83. Right? They're the enemies of God, the Palestinians. So that's why the Lord is destroying them.
So this was the thing it gave me when it broke it down. That was the most I have is 35% is Asian, and then Northwestern Europe, and then other Europe, and then African, East Europe, and Native, and
See that's confusing, right? You can't really go by DNA test.
Wasn't there a thing with the DNA test?
Yeah, they told a German Shepherd he was a Native American. So you can't really go by that, right? You got to
Well, I
literally...
know that my grandmother, though, she came from Korea. Like,
Well, what about
that's the
your
one that I know for
father's
sure.
father?
My father's father is from Georgia. But I do think that, like, where it says African American, I do think we are Georgia, the state, Georgia. But I do think that, like, when it said that we're part African American, like, I do think that that is true, and I think that I know where that came in at because, like, I found some stuff in our ancestry, but I think where it came in at is kind of fucked up because I think it came in from slavery. I think that is where it came in from. Is that there was because there's an ancestor that she's marked down as mulatto in one of the census records, but then from that point forward she marks herself down as white from like every point forward.
It should be a simple answer, right? Is your father's father Israelite or is he not? Is he black, Hispanic, and Native American? Read that real quick.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 5, verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay.
Meaning yes or no, right? Read.
For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil.
Right, so you know that DNA test that's really confusing, right? So you just have to search out your father's side, right, and see if they're black, Hispanic, or Native American. If so, you will be an Israelite. If not, you will be a Gentile according to the Bible, and you will have judgment coming to you. Now, I'm not ruling you out from being an Israelite, right? Go ahead and say what you were gonna say.
I was going to say, you said you had a problem with the whole baby alligator situation and Gaza that's going on right now, right? Well, who has done this and who's currently doing that?
That's a good
The
point.
so-called white
Go to Joel 9:24. Joel 9:24. Because the earth, according to the Bible, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, right? Who is running the earth right now? Read that.
This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Right? And that's why you got all these atrocities, wars going on, right? Because the so-called white race wants the earth. Go to Proverbs 29:2, right? Now, so you don't know what your grandfather's nationality is on your father's side?
Well, I mean, it's like obviously mixed, but I feel like they were like basically saying that like they're just white, but it's like that turned out to be a lie. So it's like,
well, this is why I tell you, just search that out. If not, just make sure you tell your kid that he's an Israelite, all right? God told his people. Because America's about to be destroyed. We come out here to wake up the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans before the Lord sends the destruction. Same thing Noah did, same thing all the prophets did of old. That's Jeremiah 28:8. Right, but what I tell you,
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
right? And that's why you got down the so-called white race bombing the children of Gaza, right? Because the wicked are in rulership.
Also raping the women over there too.
Yeah. All right. So
but, I mean, are you telling people that to help themselves they must simply like identify with a particular tribe or another? Like that doesn't really seem like that's the way.
what do you mean?
Like telling them to identify as an Israelite or to identify
that's
as...
just who they are. It's not you want to be that. You know, terms was put on us. Go to Jeremiah 17:4. You know, terms was put on us that the so-called white race gave us. They gave us African American in 1988. Right? They gave us black, the color of a crayon box. They gave us Negro. They gave us Afro-American. Right? That's not our true nationality. Our true nationality is the Israelites according to the Bible. Right? So we come out here to tell our people that. Because our identity, our identity been took away from us. Right? Read that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Meaning the Israelites won't know who they are in the last days. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
Read that again.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
Right, so the Lord said he was going to cause the Israelites to serve their enemies. Right, so we have enemies according to the Bible. Right, so we're not about to talk to people all sweet out here. Right, the Lord said, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Right, we not the damn Christian church. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear out of it. Right, read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Right, so are you familiar with the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth when Christ comes back. Right, go to Matthew 21:12. So it's very important to know whether you're an Israelite or not. Because how many gates is there to the kingdom of heaven?
I just want to understand why you believe that that knowledge in itself is the sole most important part.
Well, because Christ only died for the Israelites. So it's very important to wake them up before destruction comes, because that's the only people he's coming back to save.
But you believe that the awakening is just telling them who they are.
That's not the only awakening. It's to also to keep the commandments. Right? So we don't know if you're an Israelite or not, so that's why we didn't get to that. Right?
I understand.
We would usually teach our people the commandments of God and read them the curses to prove that we're the Israelites. But we don't know if you could be an Israelite or not. More than likely, I don't know, because you said Korean and European. More than likely, you're not.
I respect a lot what you are doing, though. I respect that you have the courage to stand here and do this. A lot of people don't have the courage to be vocal about their beliefs, and especially when people will be judgmental, you know. I think that the courage that you have to stand out here and talk about this, especially because it's your faith, and you both seem very strong in your faith. I think it's beautiful, too, because I can tell that what you want to do is to help people. And so I have a lot of respect for this. And
would you be willing to show that? Are you sorry for it? Say if you are of the European descent, are you sorry for this?
Yes, this is an atrocity. of humanity. This is a crime. This is a defilement of.
So let's see. You know, the Bible tells you how to say you're sorry to the Israelites, right? Or show your sorrow, right? Isaiah 49.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens shall thy nursing mothers.
All right, so this is going into the kingdom of heaven, because you got 18 nations in the Bible. The Israelites make up one nation, so it's 17 other nations, right? So we will have the other nations in slavery in the kingdom of heaven. That's in the Bible. That's Isaiah, the 14th chapter. That's Revelation 13 and 10, and so on and so forth.
So I want to say also this verse is going into the fact that during slavery, our foremothers and our forefathers would nurse the so-called white race's children, right?
Because they didn't want to have to do it.
Right, so y'all gonna have to do the same thing, vice versa.
Right.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee.
They shall what?
They shall bow down to thee.
Are you willing to do that? To show that you're sorry for this? Because, hey, the Lord, maybe He have mercy on
That's that's not even.
Okay. All right, so maybe the Lord will have mercy on you. All right. Read that.
They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth.
Right, so it said they shall bow down. Right, so look at that. You know, she what's her name? What's your name? Huh? Marissa, right?
Let me
So
finish this off.
read.
And lick up the dust of thy feet,
Right, so
and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Define what that means.
just a little boot kiss, right? That's all that is, right? So if you willing to show you're sorry, right? Right, okay.
Praise the Most High.
All right, so she's sorry. Maybe the Lord will have mercy on you in the kingdom of heaven. Right, this the first person to do that.
You
All
see,
right.
dude, we gave him a little bit. He just walked off.
All right, you see that? So maybe the Lord will have mercy on you because, hey, you humble yourself down. Go back to Proverbs 16.
I just can't understand why anyone would want to drop a child into the mouth of an alligator.
Right. I mean, that's what the Europeans done. You know,
Proverbs 29.
pride go before destruction. All right. So, hey, maybe the Lord will have mercy on you. You know, you won't. Maybe you'll be the one orchestrating the whips in the kingdom of heaven. Right. Read that.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction.
Right, because the white race as a whole is prideful, right? So they're going to be destroyed according to the Bible. Read.
And an haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit.
Right, because you showed yourself humble, right? Because, hey, you did what the scripture said to do. You know, most people, we read that and they act like we just making it up. Right, the Bible said that, right? So you showed yourself to be humble, you know. Read.
I feel like bowing to two people and kissing two boots is like the least that anyone could do to try to like even chip away at hundreds of years of generational trauma. But in my heart, I really do hope that divine retribution will have much more to right the wrongs of it, you know?
Right, you mean like to pay back?
Yeah.
That is going to happen. Isaiah 14:1. Real quick. Right, we're going to show you.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse
Y'all
1.
speak any English? Y'all speak English a little bit? Y'all Hispanic?
Yeah.
Y'all Israelites according to the Bible, okay? Y'all got to repent, keep the Lord's commandments.
See that? They call themselves Hispanic.
Right, that means property of Spain in Spanish.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Israel is the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? The Haitians, the Jamaicans, the African Americans. Read,
And set them in their own land,
right?
and the strangers.
Because this is not our land, right? In 70 AD, you had the Romans who persecuted us out of our land, out of Jerusalem. Now you got people over there that stole our damn identity, right, and claiming to be Jews. The Bible also talks about that. That's Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. Right? Read.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right, so the other nations, that's who the strangers are. It said y'all gonna cleave to us. Read.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
Right, it said the house of Israel is gonna possess the other nations in the land of the Lord. What does it mean to possess something?
To own it.
To own it, right? Read.
For servants.
For what?
For servants.
Read.
And handmaids.
Right, so it said we're gonna possess the other nations for servants and handmaids. Right? So that's what's coming to the other nations. Read.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Read that again.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
All right, so that's in the Bible. It said we're going to take the other nations captives, whose captives we were. So that's righteous judgment by the Lord. Right? The Lord is a just balance. He's not going to let us go into slavery for thousands of years, but then the white race gets free. Right? You know, they don't have to get judgment. No, the Lord said they're going to have to go into slavery too. Read, finish reading that.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And they shall rule over their oppressors. So when you go home, you tell your sons, right? You say you got 3 sons, right? What's their father's nationality? All of them.
Well, my oldest is from my first marriage, but he's like, both of them are kind of like the same. They're both like mostly like white because they're like white presenting, but they're also both part black, like because they both have the sickle cell trait.
What's their father's father?
Mixed for both of them.
Damn,
like, yeah.
Search that out.
You said,
I mean, like you can really tell with the younger two because they have like.
You got a picture of their fathers?
Well, I mean, like at least with Vance, especially, you can see his hair. But
You got a picture of their fathers, though?
I mean,
have to search out the fathers.
my ex-husband, it would take me a minute to find one because I mean we haven't been together for a really long time. But my current husband, like he has like very like black hair and like really dark eyes because of his Narragansett and African American. So,
You said your current
but
husband?
he's like pale skin though. But he's but curly hair because of the like that kind of hair, like 3C hair. But
Well, we don't know for sure if your husband is an Israelite because if he was, that would make his son an Israelite too.
yeah.
So if he is a Native American or African American, you tell your son or your husband to repent and keep the commandments. If not, they will be destroyed too, according to the Bible. All right. So, what's your name?
Marissa.
Marissa. That's all we got for you. All right. So, I would say,
like I said again, I do respect what y'all are doing out here because, like, my thing with my faith is just to try to be a servant, not just a servant of God, but a servant of all. Because I feel like to serve the Lord also means to serve others and to try to help.
Would you be willing to serve a black Messiah?
I feel like it always did kind of confuse me because I'm like, wait a minute, if he came from the desert and all the people from the desert look like
Jerusalem. Israel.
it's
like he came from
it feels like
pretty hot over there.
Yeah, so I don't think it really ever mattered to me. When I grew up, I had my best friend, when she had a black Santa at her house, I was like not even confused by that. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Of course, her Santa is black, so it's like, but it's just like that kind of thing has never really bothered me. I feel like because too, it's like even at my grandma's house, my grandma literally had like an Asian-looking Jesus, and it was like,
that's all.
Grandma, there's no way that Jesus was Asian.
I will say that the so-called Santa Claus, that does originate. I believe it does originate to a so-called black.
Yeah, it was an actual black man named Saint Nick.
But we're not dealing with Christmas,
right? But
this is the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 14.
Oh, sorry. Because this is how Christ looked according to the Bible. True name Yahweh Shai.
With hair like wool.
They're like will feed fine brass as if it's burned in the furnace.
Yeah.
So if he looked like that, what do you think his people look like?
Like y'all.
Right? Give me Acts 13:1 real quick. Let's see what the prophets of old was called. Alright.
I feel like the names always kind of confused me too. I was like, wait a minute, why is every Joshua and Caleb and everything like that? I know, like, they're all white, but like, I feel like if these people from the Bible came from up there, then they should all be like darker complexion. And like, no one that I know of that complexion has those kinds of names. Everyone I know of those complexions has names like Muhammad and like names like, you know.
Well, Muhammad, that's a Arabic name.
Yeah.
But you can read that.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 13 and verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Nigger.
What was the prophets called?
That was called Nigger.
Right? The prophets was called nigger in the Bible, right? So that's how the true Israelites look according to the Bible. Because nigger just means black, right? Job 30:30, Job said, my skin is black. Wisdom of Songs of Solomon 1:5, Solomon said, I am black.
Job.
Huh?
I did not know that about Job.
Get Job 30:30.
Everybody's feeling to be so cold.
Right? Because, hey, your people stole our identity, the Europeans. And that's in the Bible. Right?
This is the book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
Read that again.
My skin is black upon
That's
me.
what Job said. Now go to Revelations 2:9. And then we may wrap up soon.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 2
We be out here in the rain.
and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
And what?
And
He
poverty.
said the real Jews would be in poverty. Read.
But thou art rich.
We rich because we pertain all the covenants, the promises,
The adoption.
right? The adoptions. All right, read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
Which say they are Jews and are not. Who call themselves Jews today? The so-called white race, right? They stole our identity from us. Luke 21:24, right? The Bible said Gentiles will be in the land until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, meaning until Christ come back, right? Read this.
This is the book of St. Luke, chapter 21 and verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword,
Talking about the real Israelites. Read.
and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Right?
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Of the what?
Shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
So it said Jerusalem, meaning Israel, will be trodden down of the Gentiles. So whoever is in the land today are Gentiles. Really Edomites. That's Ezekiel 36:5. Read.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right? So the Israelites will be scattered into all nations until Christ come back. We want to be in the land. Right? So the people in the land today, they damn stole our identity in 1948. Be it a Balfour Declaration.
Those are the same people that's over there killing kids in Gaza and raping their women.
And what they call themselves? Jewish. What does the suffix ish mean? That means to some extent. Like if I say you're acting childish, right? You're not literally a child, but you're acting like a child, right? So they call themselves Jewish, right? Because they're trying to be like the real Jews, right? They call themselves Israelis, which means an inhabitant of the land of Israel. Israelite means a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't call themselves that, right? So, because they're not the real people, you know? So if you go back to a so-called white man, right, you will be an Edomite according to the Bible too. And the Edomites got their judgment according to the Bible is scary. You know, all I would say, you better hope your father's side is a Korean over Edomite, right? And it's still bad to be a Korean, you know, because they got destruction coming to them, but not as bad as the Edomites. That's all I'm gonna say, right? But we're gonna wrap it up, giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. We want to say death to America.
Death to America.
Point Yahshua.
Shalom.
Shalom.